Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm here today to do a video response to Anna at Astral Lady Tarot. I really enjoyed her video. Am I a Cliché tarot reader? I watched one or two of the others as well, and I think I first saw this tag, Lisa Pepez actually, and then I watched Anna at Astral Lady Tarot, I'm sorry. So yeah, I just thought this would be a really fun tag to do. So yeah, I'm sorry if you hear any sort of power tooly type noise in the background. One of my neighbours across that way, I don't know what they're having doing, but it's been going on for 2 or 3 weeks, and there's drilling and banging, and it's all a bit much really because it's hot here, and I've had to close my windows and my doors so I can do this video. So I do apologise if you can hear that. And also, I don't know whether you noticed, but I managed to put, well, fingers crossed that I do it anyway. I'm planning on putting an introduction video on my video today, and possibly something at the end as well. So it's been one of my ambitions over the last year to learn a little bit of video editing, and I've done a little introduction video, sort of just to start my video off, really, just 10 seconds or so. So I'm hoping to add that when this video uploads, so we'll see. Anyway, this is such a fun tag, and as I said, I've really enjoyed watching these, and it just made me think really about what actually is a cliche, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, a cliche is normally something that we say, isn't it? It's normally something that's said, something that's a well-used phrase or sentence, something that just doesn't really have any real meaning anymore. It's not original, or it lacks substance in some way. So that would be things like, saying to a heartbroken person, well, don't worry, there's plenty more fish in the sea, or which is not very helpful, is it really? Or better safe than sorry, or you can't judge a book by its cover. And they're sort of cliche phrases, aren't they? And I realised that I probably use quite a lot of those in my everyday life and in my tarot practice sometimes, and in my tarot videos sometimes, so I could probably do a bit better with that. And as far as this video goes, I think I've answered yes to most of the questions, but even still, even admitting that I probably am a bit of a cliche tarot reader, I still think that most of us here on YouTube are quite original in our own way. We all have our own unique way of presenting our videos. We have our little quirks, our little things that we all do slightly differently, and I think that we are all quite original in our own way. But anyway, without further ado, because I'll just waffle on, I'll get into answering the questions that Anna set as prompts for this video. So, do I have multiple versions of the same deck, or more than one copy of the same deck? Well, I only started collecting tarot cards quite seriously, I suppose, about a year ago. I learnt to read tarot cards sort of 30 odd years ago, but it's only been in the last year really, when I've lived alone and I've had the time and space to really sort of indulge this passion of mine. But the only 3 decks that I've got multiples of, and then they're not exactly the same deck, but they kind of are just very traditional Rider-Waite-Smith cards. I've got this deck here with the blue back. This is my very first ever deck. This is 30 years old, this deck, and it's quite grubby and well used, but I love it, obviously. And then more recently I bought this deck, which is obviously another very classic Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but this is the Radiant Wise Spirit deck, which I like very much because it doesn't have any borders. And I also have this deck here, which is just the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith, I think this one is called. And this one is exactly the same also, except the colours are just sort of slightly brighter and more vivid in this deck. So they're the only cards that I've got what I would consider multiples of, I suppose. I don't have any full-size decks and mini decks, or full-size decks and pocket-sized tins or anything like that of the same deck, but I can see that day coming. I've got the little tin of the Morgan Greer tarot, and I really do like that actually, so there's a good chance I'll probably buy that in the full size at some point. But anyway, number 2, do I own any backups of decks? Well, actually, so far, no, I don't. All my decks, actually, to be honest, so far are all sort of fairly mass market and easy to get hold of, not too expensive. And so I'm not sort of terribly anxious about that, but I'm sure at some point I will buy a deck that I love so much that is perhaps rare or difficult to get hold of, and I may well end up buying 2 of those, but currently no. Tea and tarot? Well, yes, definitely in the winter. I'm a tea drinker, not black tea. I drink herbal tea. I like chamomile, hibiscus, ginger tea, mint tea. I drink all of those kind of herbal teas, but I don't drink anything anymore that has got caffeine in it. I love coffee, but coffee doesn't love me. It doesn't agree with me. It makes my heart race. And I just don't like the taste of black tea. So, but I do drink a lot of herbal tea in the winter, particularly when I'm reading my cards, when I'm sat here at my table. But in the summertime, I generally have a cold drink on the go of some kind, things like lime cordial with soda or elderflower or just water. I do try to stay healthy if I can, really. So yeah, that would be a yes, I think, for tea and tarot. Crystals. I have lots of crystals. I have them around a lot. They're always near my cards. I try to take care of my crystals. I leave them out in the moonlight or the sunlight quite often, and I've even buried them in the garden. I don't have that big a crystal collection at the moment. I've had more in the past, but at the moment this is kind of my main crystal collection, really. There's lots of bits and pieces in here. I like little things like this, like my dragonfly and my green aventurine heart. I've got lots of palm stones. This one is fluorite. I like my big quartz crystal cluster. This crystal here is a piece of red agate, I think it is actually, and this was bought for me by my friend, and he said, it's beautiful, isn't it? I love the point on it, to be honest. And he said he thought that was me. It was a hermit crystal. So I don't know whether that's the case, but But yeah, I do like my crystals. I've got all sorts of different shapes and sizes for different things. I even have some little squares and chunks, and I wear a fair bit of crystal jewellery. I think this one is a moonstone pendant here. I've got some sodalite earrings, not on today. I've got some lapis earrings. My bangle has got amethyst in it. So yeah, crystals and tarot definitely go well together. And I found these boxes, these little wooden boxes on eBay a while ago, and I bought 2 or 3 of them, and I painted them different colours. So that's often what I put my crystals in, or my tarot cards, while I'm sat reading at my table, because they're just really good for that kind of storage, I think. So so yeah, crystals and tarot is a definite yes. Tarot books, as you can see behind me, I think this row here is pretty much all tarot books. There might be a couple of astrology books in amongst there, and some sort of archetype type books, but most of them are tarot books. And I haven't read a tarot book properly cover to cover for quite a few years, I guess, but I did used to read them quite a lot. I do read the books that come with a lot of my decks. That's what I was going to show you. Where is it? It's here. This here is this is my, it's not a journal, it was my Learn Tarot book when I first started to learn tarot 30 years ago. This little book here is 30 years old, and it has got everything that I kind of learn about tarot in it, I suppose. There's a page for every card, and as you can see, there's still space in it. But this was what I used to learn tarot. Right from the beginning, I wrote down about the Fool's Journey, what that all meant. I've also got all of the astrology associations in here. I've got some numerology in here. I've got all the birth dates, the Fool's Journey. Yeah, so this was kind of my tarot book, if you like, for a long time. That really did help me to sort of make some of the cards stick in my head. So tarot books, yes. Do I love to shuffle? No. This one is a definite no. I love to handle my cards and fiddle with my cards. But shuffling, no. I've never been any good at it. I'm always hugely jealous of these tarot readers that can do all this fancy shuffling. I'm rubbish at it and always have been, so particularly when the camera is on me and is watching me shuffle, I seem to do it even worse. So no, I do not like shuffling. But when I first started my tarot channel, actually, I was very self-conscious about it, because I realised that everybody could shuffle a lot better than me. But these days I don't care. I shuffle in my own fashion, and I shuffle with intent, and I think that that's all that matters, actually. So that one is a no. Do I have fairy lights? Well, no, I don't have fairy lights in my lounge. I used to have some in my bedroom, but not currently. I think they broke. I do, saying that though, I like to have lights around me, and different sorts of lights, and this is my favourite lamp that I always sort of have near me. But just recently I've got into these kind of things, and I've got 2 of these currently. they turn on. You just touch them on the top and they turn on, and they go different colours as you touch them. You can set them. You can set them to come on in different ways. They come with these little remote control things. You can just keep them on one colour, or you can set them to flash or fade, or do different things. And I tend to have these around quite a lot when I'm reading. I think mainly just because I really like that I can change the colour depending on my mood and depending on what I'm doing and how I feel. So yeah, I do have lights around quite a lot. And this up here that you can't quite see is a sun lamp. Well, not a sun lamp, it's a full spectrum lamp. So when I get up in the morning, especially in the winter when it's dark, I'll usually put that on, and then sit here at my table and read cards and give myself some sort of good light, really. So yeah, I do like lights, but I don't have any fairy lights currently. Number 8 is a Cliché tarot reader will never run out of candles, and that one is a definite yes. I have candlesticks and candles and tea light holders everywhere. I've got a big basket down here below me full of candles. I've got pillar candles, little tiny spell candles, tea lights. I've got all sorts of candles. And where I live in a very remote little village, and the power goes out a lot, so I'm always worried about having enough candles generally. But I can't sit and do a tarot reading without lighting a candle. It's just sometimes 2 or 3 candles actually. That just goes hand in hand. And these are my favourite things at the moment, these little tea light holders, which I found online. I've got several of them in different colours, and this beautiful glass one, isn't that pretty? You've also probably seen this one on my videos as well. So yeah, I definitely will never run out of candles. I think that's highly unlikely. Candles is a big yes. I don't really like scented candles. I'm quite sensitive to sort of perfumes and artificial smells, so I tend to just buy plain candles, and often beeswax candles when I can and when I can afford them, because they're not cheap, are they? They burn down, within 5 minutes. But they're beautiful candles. But I do have in my hall a ginger candle. It smells of gingerbread, and oh my god, I absolutely love that candle. So that's the only sort of smelly one I've got. As I said, I tend to use tea lights when I'm reading because I'm quite clumsy, and I think I could easily spill candle wax on my cards or my table, or set fire to something. So there we go. So number 9, do I have a dedicated place to read? And that's definitely yes. The thumbnail that I included on this video is a photo of this little area that I sit in the corner of my lounge. I have my table with my bookshelves behind me, all my cards. I've got 4 of these boxes that are full of cards. I have all my books around me. I have my crystals, my candles. And I do tend to read here pretty much all of the time, especially for my videos, just because it's the easiest place to set the camera up, to be honest. But I don't know, I just like the familiarity of having a place to read. I sometimes read cards in bed when I'm not very well or I'm tired, but on the whole I like the ritual of coming to sit at my table and lighting a candle and reading my cards. So what else did I have here? Yeah, as part of having a dedicated place to read is, I don't know whether other people had mentioned this, but tablecloths. The table that I'm using at the moment, it sort of easily scratches, so I can't put a lot of my crystals on it because they would scratch it. So sometimes you'll have seen in my videos I do use tablecloths, and this beautiful cover here is my favourite at the moment. I think I've had this for 30 years. It's a throw really for a sofa, but I absolutely just love it. I've got several tablecloths, and that one is my favourite by far. So at the moment I don't have a cloth on my table, which is why I've not been using any crystals while I've been reading recently, but I'm sure I'll get back into putting a tablecloth back on my table. So other things I associate with being a Cliché tarot reader are tarot bags and tarot boxes. Well, I don't really have any. As you'll see behind me, I have a few of these little organza bags that I do keep a few decks in. I don't really know why, to be honest, but I'm not really a bags or boxes type of person. I do store all the boxes for my tarot cards down here at the bottom of this bookcase where you can't see them. And I store my cards in these boxes, which I think are for paper storage. You know, they're sort of for A4 paper storage, but they seem to work really well for tarot cards. So yeah, I think if I put things in bags, I would forget what I had in what bag, and I think they would, I don't know. I have a thing about fabric, and sometimes I don't like touching certain fabric, and I think that it gets dusty. I don't really know what that's about. It's one of my many weirdisms, but there we go. So no, I don't really have boxes or bags particularly. I think someone mentioned having a tarot journal, and I've definitely had tarot journals in the past where I've written down my readings every day, and I've used that journal very much as a reflective practice. But at the moment, all I'm doing actually is I'm using this. I don't know why I pulled a face there, because it's a brilliant journal. It's a Moonology journal that goes with the Moonology oracle cards, and it's a great journal actually. It tells you where we are exactly with the astrology for the month. It gives you little prompts. It sort of gives you questions to ask at full moons and new moons. It lets you set wishes and intentions. You know, I haven't got to this page yet, but it lets you set wishes and intentions for yourself. Like I said, it tells you exactly where we are with all the astrology, really, what's coming up, what's important. And I really do enjoy this journal actually. So at the moment I'm not recording my own daily card pulls or my shadow work that I do with my cards, but I'm sure I will again. There was also somebody I think that mentioned modifying tarot decks, and that's just really not something that I've gotten into at all. I like the idea of it because there are some decks, like just this for example, where I don't really like the big borders around the cards, and I've watched other people trim cards and you know, do all sorts of things with them, but as I said, I'm quite clumsy, and I'm kind of impatient really as a person. I know that I would find it a really good idea to do, but I would get bored really quickly, and I think it's the sort of thing that I would start and not finish. A bit like decorating sometimes is that I get really excited about a new colour and then I start painting and then I get bored, and somebody often has to finish it for me. So yeah, that one is a no. I don't modify decks. That's not something I've gotten into so far. And I think lastly, I don't know whether anybody else mentioned it, but something I very much associate with being a tarot reader is the burning of incense, or the burning of things, the sort of purification of your energy and the energy of the cards. And I don't tend to burn incense because there's not many brands of incense that I like the smell of. I can find it often too perfumey, and it gives me a headache and a bit of a sore throat. But I do love my Palo Santo sticks, and as you can see, I burn that for just about every tarot reading that I do, and this has been my little plate for burning things on for a long time. It's a Portmeirion vintage plate. I think it's Portmeirion Totem, and it's got all these really gorgeous sort of esoteric symbols on it, and I probably shouldn't use it for getting wax and ash and things on, but I absolutely love it, and it just seems to go so well with the burning of things. So there we go. So I think that's probably about it, actually. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, when I really think about what a cliche tarot reader might be, I suppose I think back to when I was a kid, and all the TV that you ever saw of tarot readers was always a woman sat often in a tent somewhere with a crystal ball and her tarot cards, and she looked very mysterious, and you had to cross her palm with silver. And I suppose when I really think about a cliche tarot reader, that's the image that comes to me. And if that's the case, that's definitely not me. But as you've heard, I've answered yes to most of the questions here. So if that makes me a cliche tarot reader, well, that's fine. I don't mind at all. And I think probably as time goes on, I will end up answering yes to all of these questions. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed seeing my little world of tarot here. I think on the whole I am a cliche tarot reader, but perhaps not 100% as yet. So I'd love to hear from any of you, your thoughts and feelings on anything that I've talked about in this video. Do drop me a comment in the description box. That would be lovely. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I shall look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.